I heard today that Oprah Winfrey had over 6 million people wanting tickets. And what she represents in this world, you may not agree with all of what she may represent. I do, but she has touched lives all over the planet. That is one woman who's just beginning to get into a stride. And I think that we all have to look at what can we do to help another human being, to give a hand up to another human being. There's areas we can just clean up in our own life to be happier, healthier human beings. So that's what we have to say, Mike, about that.
Thank you.
I agree with what she's saying. I'll be brief, but I'm seeing a lot of people aware that we've got to bond together, that we've got to lean on each other, we've got to depend on each other, that there's no longer you versus me, that it's all of us together. And if we're going to go the way we're supposed to go, to survive intact, to grow, we're going to have to start leaning and learning on each other.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my name is Tina, and you answered a lot of questions for me that I had, because I think a lot of us are going through transition. I would like to know about my child who's deaf and slightly autistic. He lived in silence for about 4 years. They thought he was just autistic, but he was deaf, and I did a lot of screaming about it until they found out, okay, yeah, let's listen to her, and yeah, he was deaf. And I just want to know if there's going to be any kind of research out there, because I'm hoping to restore his hearing, because I believe it was vaccines that took his hearing away. He got sick after a cocktail of vaccines and then lost his hearing.
Well, he's a sensitive, and I believe you're right. I'm going to let someone else speak about the research.
Yeah, I think that what will happen for him, and it won't be immediate, it'll be in a couple years, but it won't be so much that his hearing will come back in the normal way. It's just that he will learn to communicate, and you will actually learn to communicate with him. It's not exactly telepathically, but it's closely aligned to that. It seems to relate to some of the techniques in psychology that they're using to communicate verbally, but there's going to be a system where it's some kind of energetic method of communicating in that way. So, do you take training for psychic training or that kind of thing?
No, I don't take that kind of training, but we did draw for a long time. We were drawing. And he does have hearing aids now, and he can hear about 80%. But he has to learn the language all over again.
Yeah.
So, he's a verbal deaf person, so he doesn't quite fit into the deaf culture, and there is such thing as a fitting in,
Yeah.
Well,
and he doesn't quite fit into his school.
Yes, right.
So
He will find, this is interesting, later on he will find this not fitting in to have been, I know this sounds strange now, but have been one of the most valuable gifts of his life that he was allowed to develop in his own way. And the example they're showing me is I have a fully deaf friend who reads lips, but with your son it's going to be a combination of reading minds plus the hearing that you'll be able to create this full communication system, not just between you and your son, but he'll be able to do this with others.
he actually can read lips.
But he'll be able to read through the ear, through the mouth, and through the mind.
Oh, wow.
All of it. So he's actually going to be a stronger communicator than most of us later on. So
He's
it'll be
a
okay.
soul that wanted to
Yeah.
be here and is here for a very important reason. And the most important gift you can give him besides love is a sense of self-esteem. He's unique unto himself, and he has incredible artistic abilities. And you're an artist, correct?
Right.
So you would be able to bring him out a little bit more and help him develop some of his expression through imaging. That will expand his intuitive ability.
If I can briefly, when you're insecure about, am I doing everything I can be doing? Am I doing the best that can be done for him? Am I shortchanging him? Remember, he very carefully chose you. And he chose you for all the reasons we've spoken about, the abilities, the gifts he has, the gifts you have to be able to offer him, to bring him along. He very deliberately chose you. So let yourself be confident that what you're doing is going to get him from point A to point B.
I'm getting verklempt. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Karen. First of all, I want to acknowledge that it's great to hear that there is an opening, more opening and awareness amongst people, because I'm feeling that too. So I just want to say thank you for that. I've been having a very persistent neck issue for the last year. I do fully believe that all physical symptoms have internal components, like emotions and all of that, core issues. So I've been working in the medical system, but I'm very open to any guidance I might receive on where to look and what to do for my own healing.
Can you trace your pain back to any specific thing in this life? In other words, can you say, I fell or...
I've had 2 automobile accidents, but they were 15 years ago.
Okay, and this has been recent?
In the last year.
Okay. Because what I'm getting is his past life. And something that you've done in the past year has triggered this in your consciousness so that you can be aware of the circumstances. And once you get over them, once you do it and get over it, it won't bother you anymore. I had a chiropractor come to me from back east, and his problem was that he had terrible back issues, terrible pain in his back. He'd had it all his life. So we did a regression and found out that he had had several lives treating people poorly. Started in Rome in the salt mines when he was one of the, what do you call them, slave masters. One day, one of these big blocks of salt came down, hit him in the back, and pinned him to the ground, and nobody would help him because he was such a stinker. And after that, he found several more coming up in time that he had the same circumstances. So we worked on that, and we worked on clearing the problem that he has with people. Why does he treat people this way? And so on and so forth. And long story short, he never had the problem again. So it's something similar. I'm not saying you were a slave driver, but but that's what it is.
Some people like me.
I'm sure. I'm a lovely lady.
I'd like to see you try hypnotherapy and allow that part of your body to talk. If there is a past life coding, it will come up. If this is something that's dealing with this life, it will come up. But I really believe that it has to do with, this is the expression center of the body. The back of the neck is where we're receiving a lot of electromagnetic energy that's coming off of the sun as it's coming down on earth. We're getting it. I cannot tell you how many people are having neck problems, shoulder tightness, lower back, because it all travels, okay? So since this started a year ago, you might find that going under hypnotherapy is going to be like a soul search. You're going to get answers in that process.
Yeah, I'm seeing almost the way that it's appearing to me is almost like there's metal pins in your back, almost like your head is being attached. Your neck has metal pins in it, attaching your head to your body. Do you feel like your body and your head are disassociated, or your mind and your physicality?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something like you don't need to have the pins there, but again, you might need some processing to figure out why your head and your... And maybe it's a past life thing that is coming forward now, but it feels like it's a head and body disconnect.
Yeah, the guides are telling me that it's now because only now are you ready to face it.
Yeah, yeah.
They're showing me a very, very brief thing where you got your head chopped off in a past life. And it was a punishment for something you did. And there's the henchman there, and he just, one quick swing, and that was that. And it may, as she was saying there, that hypnotherapy may bring your past life issues out that'll help you. Because he swung swift and easy, and it went. So.
Yeah, and so now in this life, you've had that disconnect of the head with the it's not just the body, it's the physicality of the body. So
Right.
the mental and the physical, needing to get those not under the guillotine in this lifetime.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We've all had terrible past
Yes.
lives, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. I had
you
the
very
same thing happen to me in China.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what was really interesting about it?
I was in China too.
Oh, you too?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll have to talk.
I
maybe.
know, it's true.
That's what this board is meant for, right? Yes.
But the thing that was so interesting about that experience was that the what do you call a head chopper offer person?
The head
henchman.
chopper offer person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
when he got back into spirit, he was so upset when he realized all the people that he had murdered. Really,
Executioner.
Yeah.
executioner.
That's it.
Thank you,
That's
Badeish.
it.
Yeah, and he thought, oh my, what did I do? And then what he did to make up for it was he became a doctor in the mid 1800s, and he went around, taking care of people just about for nothing. And also, what he's done is he has sought out those souls like me that he executed. And I was supposed to die 35 years ago. I was supposed to be done by the end of the year. And he helped me. I didn't make the connection then until later on. He told me who he was. But he helped me to do spiritual healing. And here I am, So that's the way it works.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go to our next
Hi,
guest.
my name is Christine, and I'm calling. I'm here to ask, not necessarily what's next, but I guess sort of. I have a business lease that's going to be up, and my house lease, and I've been feeling very strongly for over a year that just something big, 180 shift, and I've changed within myself 180. Big time, in a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous way. But I'm kind of now going, okay, what?
You're going to move.
Yeah. I agree.
get that,
I
too?
agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to make a
Absolutely.
big move. I'm even seeing
You're,
Florida.
you're closing them down. You're closing both of them down, and you're moving completely away from that. You're closing them down, getting rid of them, and going from there. You're going to find yourself in a wonderful spot where you are going to feel, yes, this is where I belong. And you don't feel that now, and you haven't for a long time. So you're going towards where you're supposed to be. So go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel that you may investigate Florida, but I don't believe you're going to live there. I don't think you could handle the weather. I feel like you're going to go to more of a warmer climate, but you're on a spiritual path now more than you've ever been in your entire life. And I think you're going to go to an environment where teachers that are extraordinary teachers, authors, people like that, are going to be around, and you'll have access to their schools or their workshops. I mean, when you go into Arizona, some of the best medical, intuitive medical is there. Of course, you've got outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico is
Sedona.
Sedona. Well,
Yeah.
Sedona, but I don't see her in Sedona.
No, I don't
No.
either.
It's
but
got to be a bigger metropolitan
Yeah.
area. And I think it's about reinventing yourself more in accordance with who you really are now than who you were before. It's like that's done, and now you're ready to move ahead. And that takes faith.
Yes.
Not only faith in God, but faith that you're being called to this new environment to do something really wonderful with your education, because you're here to help other people. You have an incredible compassion and capacity to be there. Like a doctor, you want to be there. And the other thing I would like to see you do to mix it up a little